there were so many sacrifices that were made for me to be here in the US. It's kind of like a duty. So it's not a step back, it's a step up.
It's something you feel it when you go back. There's like Mother Africa calling in you.
One of the ways that we're preparing for our move abroad is to be connected to the right people. This event, which is called Back to Africa, it talks about the urgency of the diaspora to go back home,
Hmm.
invest. There's that drive, that thirst to contribute, to have meaningful and impactful contributions to the continent. Use the knowledge that you have acquired in the diaspora.
Mm.
Bring that knowledge to your either country of origin or anywhere in Africa, that because that knowledge is needed. It can accelerate the growth. It's a way for the diaspora to come and help contribute in the development of the existing development of African nations. Being in that environment where you see other people who are in that same mindset of, I compare it a little bit to the Black Panther, let's all go to Wakanda kind of thing. Like it's like
Yeah.
that feeling
Yeah.
of we're all going to do something. We all feel like we can and that we should, and we're excited about the idea of going and to help.
Hello, my friend. Hi, Linda.
Hey, 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 how are
How are
you?
you?
Doing great, and you? Thank you
I'm
for having me.
good. Yes, I'm so happy to have you here.
Excited to be here.
Yeah, we've been chatting for a while since, we met at the Exodus Summit. For me, it was important to have you on the channel for many reasons. But the first one is the journey that you have right now with your family.
Mhm.
So, but before we start, can you please introduce yourself to our audience? Tell them who you are, what you're doing on your channel, what you're offering, and what is the journey that you are taking at the moment, and tell us all a little bit more about that.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Jazz. I'm so excited to be here and talk about the project, the process that we have into moving abroad. And so my name is Linda Enoh. I am originally from the Congo, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, born and raised in Morocco, lived in the US for 20 years, and met my husband here in school when we have four children, ages 10 and under, so 10, 9, and the twins are 7 years old. And for the past 7 years, I've been full time in online business where I teach online businesses. Well, I actually teach people how to start online businesses, specifically how to find clients online using social media. And so now with my YouTube channel, I document our journey as we're preparing to move abroad. Don't know where yet. And then also teaching people how to start an online business to sustain your lifestyle so that you can move abroad and have, and have your life that you desire abroad.
Exactly. And you know how, the pandemic did teach us all that we can actually work from home these days, right?
That's right.
So, what better than being able to run a business online? For somebody like me, that's why I was attracted to you, and I took your course because I'm somebody who lives to travel. Like if I had didn't have a family, I'd be everywhere because I just love being everywhere. I love traveling, and I'm a freelancer, so I need to be online to be able to make money while moving.
That's right. That's
So
right.
and so that's move abroad. But first, let me start by talking about your the fact that you were born in Morocco, but
Hmm.
from Congo.
Hmm.
Then now you are in the US and you're married to a Cameroonian.
Yes.
My
Yes.
goodness, that's a lot of different. I mean, that's so rich. Tell me a
Yes.
little bit about that. Growing up in Congo, how do you identify actually? No,
Yes.
growing up in Morocco. Sorry.
It's funny because depending on who's asking, I will give them different answers. And so I'm a US citizen right now. But
Yeah.
before that, I was a Congolese citizen, but I had never been to the Congo. Born in Morocco, but not a Moroccan citizen. So when you're born in Morocco, that of non-Moroccan parents, you don't automatically get citizenship. So we never really
Mm.
asked for it. It's very hard to get, but we never asked for it. I don't think it would give us any kind of special advantages. So my parents never asked for it. And so I lived in Morocco for born and lived there till I was 23. Then
Mm.
came to the US for grad school, did my master's, my PhD, and met my husband, who is from Cameroon, born in the US, grew up in Cameroon, and then came back to the US for school. And now we have four beautiful kids who have a rich heritage.
Very rich heritage. So, how do you yourself identify? Do you, yes, you a US citizen,
Hmm.
and so do you identify with Morocco, with Congo, with all part of
Yeah,
you, and now being married to a Cameroonian?
yeah. So it's when my parents don't live in Morocco anymore. Now they're here in the US with us, but they moved to the Congo and then they came here in the US. But when my parents were in Morocco, Morocco was definitely home. Now
Okay.
the US is home for me because this is where I created my home, like literally my
Yes.
kids and all of that. And
Yeah.
so, but sometimes when I say going back home, I just say Africa. I consider Africa in general as home, not
Yeah.
specifically the Congo because I don't know the Congo that much. And so I just lump Africa into home for me right now. Yes.
Yeah, oh, I'm with you on that because for me, Africa, the whole continent, and I have that dream of Africa being one. I
Mhm.
just see it as, anyway, who knows? In a few centuries, that may
Hopefully,
become true.
they'll make it
Yes,
happen.
exactly. So, what was the move back to Africa?
Mm,
What made you and your husband decide to move? Leave the US, the American dream, to go
yeah,
back to Africa where everything need to be built, you
I
know,
know,
S-
I know.
and with
Well,
4 kids, yeah,
yes, with four kids on top of that. Well, before we got married, I we already had those conversations. So on my prayer list, I prayed and I wrote on my journal of what I wanted my husband to be. I had like criteria so that I was ambitious in my criteria, right? I was like, God, please, even if you give me 80% of what's on the list, please, 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 in Jesus' name, amen. I still have the journal and I look at it from time to time. And but yeah, I have 99%, I would say, about what's on the list. And something that was very, very important for me is that I wanted, like when I left Morocco, I wasn't looking back. I wasn't there. I mean, it's known that in the northern African countries, so Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Egypt, there's a history of racism.
yeah,
And so growing up there, I mean, Morocco is very hospitable. I have great Moroccan friends and everything. But in the 80s, I mean, it's changed a little bit now, but racism was there, like was
mm,
blatant,
mm,
blatant.
yeah,
And so I left. I couldn't wait to get out of there. And so I didn't look
wow,
back. But I always knew that I wanted to learn more about sub-Saharan Africa, about where I came from. And
yeah,
so I wanted to be with somebody who would have that double culture. That
yeah,
would be a little bit of the African culture and a little bit of the American culture or European culture, wherever, because that's what I had in me. Like we went to a French school, we went to American church, we watched TV in Spanish. Like there was a lot of different cultures in me and my siblings. And so I knew that it was a crazy prayer. But God answered that prayer. And so my husband is also that he has that American experience, Cameroonian experience. And so we talked about that before we got married. Like, would you like he wanted to go back to Cameroon at some point, and I was fine with that. I just knew that it wasn't going to be right now. Let me enjoy my American dream first.
yeah.
Not ready to go back home yet. And so we lived that. We explored that. We got married, children, jobs, and all of that. And so we did live that American dream. And so and so I left my job in academia and I started my online business full time. And so I always knew that okay, I could do that from anywhere. So I was
Yeah.
teasing him like, can we go somewhere? Can we move somewhere and do this? And he's like, I have to meet with clients in person, so I can't leave. I'm like, okay, well. we'll just travel, like travel. We're not going to move anywhere. And so now that the pandemic, after when the pandemic happened, he had to do everything on Zoom. And I was like, is it time now? And so we started talking more seriously about, okay, let's do the research. Okay, where are we going? And that's where I was like, okay, maybe not Cameroon. What about, I had my top three choices were Morocco, Cote d'Ivoire, and Cameroon. And so in my choices, I knew that, okay, Morocco, maybe not after all. I didn't want my kids to potentially experience what I did. So it was like Cameroon and Cote d'Ivoire. And so here we are
Yeah.
today.
So you were actually the one who were pushing for the move.
Yes, more actively I was, because I was ready. I could do
Right.
what I was doing. He wasn't, because there was no way. It's like, okay, this is what I do. It's his own business, but still he has to meet people in person. And so it wasn't feasible for him.
Right.
And so
Right.
I was just planting seeds and watching videos about the people here, people there, and getting into that dream stage and trying to make it into more concrete. And with the pandemic, that's one thing that it brought, positive thing that brought to us, is that, okay, we can redefine these jobs and these businesses and make them online.
Yeah. So where are you with that process? Because now I know that you still undecided about where exactly you're gonna go. And these two countries being, you said, was Ivory Coast and Cameroon, because Morocco was put aside.
Yep.
And so where are you with that decision and with the preparation to that move back to Africa?
Yes. So as a good Cameroonian, my
Uh-huh.
husband's choice and only choice is Cameroon.
Yeah.
Any Cameroonian will put Cameroon atop, even if it's burning. The country's burning, but Cameroon, we're still going to Cameroon, right?
Guys, I'm laughing at Linda because I'm married to a Cameroonian and it's exactly the same story. My husband doesn't see anything else. And you know how I'm traveling alone as a solo traveler? People are like, "You leaving your husband?" I'm like, "My husband has knows one destination, Cameroon. That's
That's
it.
it.
He
That's
doesn't
it.
go anywhere. I'm so sorry. I want to experience the world." But they call, the Cameroon the continent.
That's
So for
right.
them, when you go to Cameroon, you've seen the world.
Yep. That's it. There's nothing else that compares to Cameroon.
Yeah.
There's, even with potholes and everything, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Cameroon is still number one on the list.
Yeah.
Always, always. And I love that about Cameroon. And it's like they have such
I
pride
know.
in who they
Yes.
are.
Yeah.
And you have to admire it. You have to
Yo,
admire.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
They love their countrymen. They're proud of their
Yes.
country. They're very rooted into their own culture,
That's right.
traditions.
That's right.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've adopted, the
Hmm.
continent as my country now. So
Yes. I mean, I can't tell, like, if I'm with my husband and people ask me, I cannot say that I'm Congolese. I have to say I'm Cameroonian, because it's like, no, you're Cameroonian now. We're not talking about
yeah,
Congo.
the same. The same.
Same with your husband. Yeah.
Yeah.
you're 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 in the family now. That's it. Leave Congo over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that was his choice, number one choice. And for me, I was more. I expanded it a little more. I wanted to be a French speaking country.
Hmm.
Definitely Africa. It had to be Africa because of business opportunities, because of personal relation. I wanted Black majority. I wanted my
Hmm.
kids to be able to grow in that. My husband did grow in being in a Black majority, and I always not envied, but I always admired that about him. Like I
Yeah.
didn't, and I feel like a part of me is a little, in terms of self-esteem, a part of me is a little shattered. But
Oh,
he is
yeah.
not only he's Cameroonian, but he's a black, big black, proud man. So he's like, you can tell him nothing, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
want my kids to be able to grow up in that environment, right? And so that's why we were like, and also because we are going in a mindset of building, in a mindset
Mm,
of impact, not just living the same life that we're living here, and then let's just do it in Paris, and then
mm,
being consumers of whatever is there. And so I had my top countries. So I was also considering, so if I had to consider Congo, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, Cameroon, forget about Morocco. Congo, I've never been. Okay, so it's out. Senegal, because we don't speak Wolof and it's
Mm,
widely spoken, it might
yeah,
be a little hard to get things, not impossible, but just a little harder. So that
yeah,
was just Cote d'Ivoire, which is the number one economy in French-speaking Africa, and Cameroon, right? And
yeah.
so those are the top choices. Those are the top choices.
Right, right. So, do you have something in mind of when you want to be there? Did you give yourself like a deadline, or you still like, studying the two countries, the possibilities, opportunities, and the kids' school, etc.? Where are you in that process?
Yes, yes, great question. So, to be honest, I thought that I would be there by now. I thought I'll be living my best Abidjan life right now, but
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm okay. So the goal is to make it happen by next year.
Okay.
The goal is to make it happen by next year. More logistically, and also financially, we want to be able to have more of a cushion
Yeah.
because you need to save enough money to last you a whole year.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one of our goals is to be able to save as much money as we can. And logistically, I think it's a lesser issue, but more like, okay, with my husband's work, like how we're gonna make sure we can automate certain things for him to be able to maybe come back a few times or things like that to make sure that he can still be okay with his clients. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay. That's interesting. So, are you looking forward to, do you already envision how your life will be there in
you
Cote
know,
d'Ivoire? Because you did go, right? Because you
yeah,
didn't just decide, but you went. Can you tell us about what you were looking for when you went there? How do you call
yes,
it? A scouting?
a scouting
Uh,
trip,
yes.
scouting relocation trip. So yeah, so
Yeah.
back in 2020, 2022, which seems like a long time ago because Abidjan has changed so much since. I went on a scouting trip. So it was a business trip. I wanted to meet different people in the tourism sector because my background is in tourism.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to attend certain events and see my best friend. My best friend is from Cote d'Ivoire and she lives in Abidjan. And so for me, it was a great way to see how she lives and see if I could see myself living in the same way. And my husband came as well. So it was a great way to quote unquote convince him and be like, see, we could that could be us. Could
Yeah.
be us. And it was a great experience because we didn't go to an Airbnb, we didn't stay at a hotel. We stayed with my friend whose family dynamic is similar to mine. She has four kids, same age range as well as mine.
Oh,
She's
that's
like middle
great.
class
Yeah.
from Abidjan. She doesn't live in an expat neighborhood. And so the same things that she was doing, these would more than likely be the things that I would do. Like, so seeing her waking up in the morning, having somebody help with the kids, to get the kids ready, herself getting ready for school, activities, taking the kids to activities, all that I was able to see and be like,
And
that,
you did like it. You like what you saw.
I mean, who wouldn't want to have like two nannies, a driver,
I
and
know.
somebody
Oh
who
my
cooks for you?
goodness. Yes.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what? I
Yeah.
kind of felt a little bad because uncomfortable because I would wake up, get in the dining room, and then they're like, Madame, what do you want for breakfast? I'm like, okay, can I go help in the kitchen? They're like, nah, tell me what you want. They bring it to me, and I want to get the plates and back in the kitchen. They're like, no, 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 don't touch anything.
You,
I said,
I I love that about Africa. I'm sorry, I do the same. Okay. When I go to Cameroon, I want, when we were there with the kid, we had a maid, we had a driver, we had a. I'm so sorry. People feel bad like, oh, it's using people. It has nothing to do.
no,
You're giving a job to these people working for you.
yeah,
You treat them well. Often you treat them like family, but
mhm,
you're giving these people, you're creating jobs,
that's right.
so there's nothing to be ashamed or bad about. I know when we here, you do everything in Europe. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
when I go to Cameroon, I'm like, I don't do anything. I don't go in the kitchen.
it's not
Somebody
expected of
is
you.
looking
That's right.
after me. So
Yes, yes,
yeah,
absolutely. And it's like, even if you don't have somebody who cooks for you, somebody who drives you. Every family has somebody who helps. Any, like whether you're
Absolutely.
poor or you're rich, you
Yeah.
always have that one person. Maybe it's like a young girl. So you'd never do life alone. You always,
No,
always have help. That's just
exactly.
that's just
E-
how it is.
Exactly. And let me tell you something that in Cameroon you would want a driver. I mean, Yaoundé is better than Douala,
Uh-huh.
but Yaoundé driving it's
Oof.
a workout.
Yeah.
Okay. I realized because I was driving myself, went to the plantation. I did, I do the road. Yet
Hmm.
I'm not scared. I just go. And when I came home, I parked the car, and there was a. I didn't realize how tense I was because you
Oh.
have the taxis. They're the worst one. You
Oh.
know, there's the road. Anyway, the rules on the road in Cameroon is just something else.
Yeah.
So anyway, not to scare you, you,
The
you,
motorcycles and all that.
they're okay. In Yaoundé, there are a few,
Hmm.
nothing like Douala. Douala
Oh.
is, I don't want to drive in Douala. And I'm
Oh.
somebody who drive anywhere.
Yeah.
Douala, I refuse to drive because the motorcycle, they like, what's the name? Ants
Oh.
everywhere, and cars are like, you must don't go buy a brand new car, Porsche or anything. It's pointless. It's better to have those old car.
Yeah.
If you bumped into, it's okay,
Just,
move on.
just keep going.
Right. So after that scouting trip in Abidjan, how long did you stay there?
It was 10 days. So we
10
stayed,
days.
yes. My husband left a little early, but we stayed for 10 days. And then he went back by himself for Cannes, for the
Yeah,
African
like
Nations Cup.
yeah.
And he didn't go by himself. He invited his Nigerian friends to go with him. So they had a blast. They had like he was the ambassador of
Yeah.
he was Ivory Coast's ambassador, but they had a great, great time. Yeah.
Right. Do you think that pushed the balance a little bit toward
It definitely
Ivory
did.
Coast?
It definitely did. I think I did my job. I presented all my evidence on the table. I've put the pressure and everything. And now I'm just letting other people do the work. So when he went there, he went to have dinner with my friend's husband, and he took them around, and they were like, ooh, ha. So it's like other people, childhood friends, Cameroonian childhood friends, who now live in Abidjan and are telling him, forget Cameroon, come here. So I'm like, it's not even me talking anymore. It's just him. It's just
Exactly. And there's
other people.
there's a huge community because I was in Abidjan too. And we went actually, I was with Cameroonian. Cameroonian are
Mhm.
like, I don't know if it's like, how do you call it? Lemon.
Yes,
They
magnets.
magnet. They like, I don't know, they gravitate around each other. It's like one is there and they all come. So we met
Yeah.
so many of them there. So, and how do you prepare the kids for the move?
So
Did you talk to them about leaving the
yeah, so the
US?
good thing is that they're still small.
Yeah.
They're still small, so they technically don't really have an opinion.
Yeah.
Not to be mean,
Yeah.
but I think that even if we were to live in Peru or Disneyland or Japan,
They be
they'd
happy
be like,
to
"Yeah,
see
let's
land.
go."
Yeah.
You know? So
Okay.
it's that's what makes it a little easier than if they were teenagers and they'll be like, "No, I want to have the
Absolutely.
prom experience. I want
Yeah.
to learn how to drive here in the US." So at this age, they adapt anywhere we go as long as
Abs.
we're there.
Yeah.
They'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Completely. Yeah. We did the opposite. We went with our kids that
Mhm.
were, they were teenagers and that was tough for them.
Mm.
But there's something you said at the beginning about, I can't remember exactly what, but what it brought to me is how my kids at the beginning, when before they moved in Cameroon for 2 years, they couldn't identify with Africa. You said
Mm.
something about you wanting your kids to know where you come from, to
Yeah.
know about Africa.
Yeah.
And my kids, before living in Africa, they didn't identify nothing to do with Africa. They were British and French. That's
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
Talk to them about Africa, they're like, what's that? Although they knew, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when they came from Africa, They
Mm.
had like, it's like they became whole
Wow.
because they knew where they come from, where their parent came from. They
Yes.
understood what being African is. It's not something to be ashamed of.
Right.
Because of, if you check the media, will paint Africa as this poor place.
That's right.
And
That's
them
right.
growing up in Europe and, being teased like, Africa, that's an
Hmm.
insult,
Yeah. Yeah.
hey, Africa, but them going there, I see them so proud of
Yeah.
being African, being black, and that because they lived there for two
I love
years.
that.
And today they're pro Africa, and
Yeah.
without them moving back. So when family member who to this day are angry at me, as I punished the kids, I
Hmm.
mistreated my kid but for taking them to Africa. We
Mhm.
are from Africa. There's nothing wrong because the American, the European dream,
Yep.
the dream of going to, the West, right?
Yes.
Is that people can't understand why you live in
Yep.
America. You have the American dream. You're
Yeah.
going back to Africa. Why?
Yeah.
Did you get that from friend, from maybe family or anyone?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's difficult, but I did a video about talking about that a little bit, trying to explain or trying to have an understanding myself about that. I There were so many sacrifices that were made for me to be here in the US. My
Mm,
parents made a lot of sacrifices, just like any immigrant story, right? It's not
mm-hmm,
easy to be an immigrant, right?
mm,
And so at that point, the parents feel like, okay, they've done their job, right? They've accomplished that thing. And now you want to reverse the thing and go back to, hey, they're like, what? Nah, you're supposed to stay over there.
yeah,
And so the way I see it is that people who want to go back, usually they're not at the same stage as when they came in. I came in here as a student. I was broke. I didn't know nothing. Didn't have a
mm,
job experience or anything. Didn't have any kind of job experience. But you go back because you have accumulated expertise, you have
mm-hmm,
accumulated knowledge, you have accumulated certain things that now you can go and contribute.
yeah,
Now you can go and have an impact. You don't go there to just chill on the beach and be a tourist, at least in Africa. You can do that in other countries.
yeah,
But I think that for most African immigrants, we want to go back because we know that it's kind of like a duty, that there are
yes,
things that are changing. Just like I
mm,
said, in 2 years now, Abidjan has changed completely. But there are things that you know that you can also contribute to the development.
contribute.
And so you feel like it's not a step back, it's a step up. And some people might disagree with me, and that's okay. Everybody has their own experience. But I feel like for if you ask immigrants to the United States, if the African yeah, the
Like a
African dream
country,
is real
it's
too, right?
gonna be, yes, yes,
So now we're going to leave the African dream. But if the American dream is real, most immigrants will say yes.
mm-hmm,
Most immigrants will say yes because it's thanks to a lot of the sacrifices that were made by native,
yeah,
by local, by those who have grown up here, right?
yeah,
And so there are a lot of difficulties that we had to go through to live. Like English is not my first language, but I had to go to school and write a dissertation in English. All of that,
yeah,
right? It was
yeah,
hard. Being here by myself, living my
yeah,
family,
yeah,
all of these things is hard. There are a lot of things that I couldn't work because I was on student visa. So there are some advantages and disadvantages that you have. Not to discredit anybody who's saying that the American dream is a farce or is fake or it doesn't exist anymore. Everybody lives it in their own way. But I think that most immigrants will tell you that they came in at this level, and 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years for us, for me and my husband, later, we're not here. We're here. So for
Ab-
us, the
yeah,
American dream worked. And because we're here, now we can be like, let's do the African dream now because we have something to
exactly,
give. But if it
yeah,
wasn't for the American dream, I wouldn't be in a position to say, let me go back to Africa. They'd be like, what do you have to give? I wouldn't have
exactly,
anything to give. But
yeah,
thanks to what I was able to get here, the education, the work experience, and everything, which I'm so grateful for, now I can not only contribute here, because I do contribute here, of course, but also back home. And so I don't know what the question is, but yeah. So, so to answer
That's
to
okay.
what family or friends are saying, like, why would you want to go back there? Or it's because you feel a sense of duty. And also, my husband and I didn't put pressure on ourselves to say we're going back forever and this has to work. That's it. This is a one-way ticket and that's it.
Hmm.
We're saying let's go and see 2 years, 3 years, 5 years how it goes. That way, it's if it doesn't work out, we don't. It doesn't work out, and we come back or we go somewhere else. No pressure.
We did the
But
same. We did the same.
yeah, there we
We
go.
went for 2 years, and then I was there for until COVID, but then I had to come back. But what we went to do that did not work really, so we came back, and now we're preparing to go back. Now we're going back and forth, back and
There you
forth.
go.
So it takes time. And you know what you were saying is going back in Africa is being part of something big. It's like that sense of duty. It's like giving back and participating in. It's something you feel it when you go back. There's like Mother Africa calling in you. You may be born,
Yes,
grew up, and etc.
yes.
If you had asked me the question when I was 25 about Africa, I'm like, what? What's no? Uh, I was like my kid. I was French. No,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did not want to have anything to do with Africa, right? Because of
yeah,
how it was
yeah.
perceived, and there was a lot of shame of being African
That's
at the
true.
time.
That's true. That's
So
true.
today, I wouldn't. Today, I'm pro Africa, like my kids. And the other thing as well that you said, but my brain just gone away. You said something else that was really important. I wanted to comment on it, and then that's the brain of a 50 years old. You forget things. Anyway, I'm gonna come back to it. But I
Yeah.
did. Oh yes, I love, love, love what you say because you don't hear it enough from immigrant.
Mm.
And I said that too in the sense where being a French citizen, the fact that I grew up in France, studied there, then
Mhm.
did university and came. The fact that I have that French passport,
Mhm. Mhm.
it's something that gave me the what I needed, the means to go back to Africa.
Yeah.
Is France, no matter what's happening with La France Afrique.
Yes.
At the
Yes.
moment, France still my adopted mother. She raised me,
Absolutely.
she taught me so many things. It doesn't mean that she's not doing bad things. But if I am who I am today, if I
Yeah.
can give back to Africa today, it's because of what she gave me. We're going back because we have something that we learned that we can now leverage and give back,
That's right. That's right.
to the country. Yeah.
And something very real. The I've been a U.S. citizen for I don't know, maybe 10 years or something like that. I don't remember. But when I was traveling with when I was the first international trip that I took with my boys and my husband, all three
Uh-huh.
of them had American passport, and I was with the Congolese passport. I was shaking the whole time. I was like, if something happens, the embassy is gonna scoop them up, and I'm gonna stay back. There's passport privilege. Of course,
I,
it
I
happens.
know.
It's so
I'm
real.
laughing because my Gabonese passport would not take me anywhere. I'm not,
Anywhere.
no, I'm a traveler today is because of my French passport.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
without that, that's what makes me a traveler.
Yeah.
I don't have to ask visa in 188 countries or something like that, which
Yes.
is a lot, right?
Yeah. It's
So
crazy. It's not fair, but that's the reality.
it's the reality, and so we have to be grateful, regardless of what's happening in politics, etc.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
reality of things is a lot of immigrant. That's the reason why we come.
Yeah.
That's the reason now that our parents send us to do the studies. The same
Yeah.
when I came back with a Cameroonian in Gabon, my parents were like, my family was like, so we sent you in Europe study. Now you're coming back not only with an African guy, a Cameroonian, Gabon and Cameroonian. I'm like, mm. And then what you're doing is you're going farming. What is wrong with
What
you?
happened to you?
To this day, my family doesn't understand. They're like,
Uh,
yeah, did you lose your mind? What is wrong? The reason why we're going back, there's something that there's in Africa that because they're there, they haven't left to the place, they don't see how big Africa is and
yes,
how grand, and that's why we're coming back. So that, I mean, African dream, trust me, it
yes.
has started. I
Mhm.
heard something about Ghana giving, facilitating the citizenship in
Mhm.
Ghana for Americans. So there's a lot of American who
So,
now lives
yep.
in there.
Yeah, Sierra Leone definitely is already doing that, and Benin, if you can prove that you have um,
Yeah,
roots,
and
like in
roots.
Benin.
Yeah, Gabon does that as well. And for a lot of Black people, being in the continent, it's a different experience.
Mm,
Everybody looks like you.
yeah,
So
yeah. You're
yeah.
you're not black there. You're you.
You're you, exactly. You don't have to justify anything. You're just
Mm-mm.
you.
You're
So
you.
it's a beautiful experience to have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So moving on a little bit, because I know that the kid will be coming back home, and I don't want to keep you too long, and I want you to tell us as much as you can about what you're doing. What I like is what you're doing on your channel, because not only you documenting your process into moving, etc., but you
Mhm.
also walking people through what they can do, how they can leverage what they already know to create online business. And that's
Yes.
what attracted me a lot to your channel. And guys, I've been one of the student of Linda. I'm still a student of Linda because I'm there learning every time, when she gives free content online as well. And so tell us a little bit about that, because a lot of things for people, whether you move back to Africa or just move abroad, because we
Yes,
also in the Exodus Summit where a lot want to move abroad to,
that's right.
South America, wherever, being
Yeah.
able to have an income, and today online business is what,
Hmm.
works. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So the reason actually that I started documenting the journey as we preparing to move abroad was out of I just wanted to let it out. I didn't know I was, I guess, bugging my husband, talking about it all the time. And I think it was about 3 years ago that so my YouTube channel is old because back then, 7, 8 years ago, I was just documenting like packing videos about me and my kids when we travel and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I didn't know anything about YouTube. I was just putting it out there, like what to pack, what food to pack for the babies. And then I just had that thing where I was like, oh man, I wish there were other people out there who really want to move abroad, who want to move, but with their kids. Like I wasn't seeing like Black people doing that with their kids. I was seeing a lot of single people doing it by themselves and all that. And a friend of mine challenged me, and she's like, "Why don't you just talk about it on YouTube?" And I put out one video, and then I was like, "Oh, I have more things to say." And so it wasn't a business; it was just a way for me to share what was on my heart.
Yeah.
And then the more I shared with people, and they were like, "Yeah, but what do you do with money? And how do you make that possible?" And I was like, "Okay, well, yeah, I have an online business." I was just nonchalantly talking about it. But then I was like, "Okay, let me help people make that possible for them too." And for me, I've always been for financial independence, like not having to depend on the
Yeah.
boss, on income. Like I was making okay money, like as a college professor, but there's a cap on how much money you can make, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you have your online business, you can talk about anything you want, you can teach anything you want, and you can make how much money you want, right? There's no cap on that. You can work with whoever you want. And so there's no like work politics with
And
your online business.
the
You're free.
freedom to work for
You
yourself. Yeah.
you are absolutely free. And for the thing to do that's something that you absolutely love. And so that's why I started talking more also about okay, how do you make that happen? How do you start a business based on what you're already good at, what you love to do, and what others will pay you for? And sometimes we complicate things and we're like, why can I start this business? Like, what kind of business should I start? And then you look at other people who are making money and you're like, maybe I should do this. Oh, maybe I should do this just because other people make money with it. But everybody has something in them they can start a business with. You don't have to go to school for it. You don't have to go and get a certification for it. You don't have, I mean, unless you're going to sell like financial services, there are certain regulations like for certain things. But something you're really good at, naturally good at, that you enjoy doing, that maybe people ask you about. Like you always have that auntie who's asking you to book her flight. You always has that uncle who's or that nephew that you're reviewing essays for. Maybe you're good at writing. Maybe you have a great voice. Whatever it is that you don't even take, you actually take for granted. You
Yeah.
would never think that you could build a business around that thing. That's the thing that you can monetize. That's the
Yeah.
thing you can monetize. And so I teach people how to do that, how to start their business, online business, 100% online, not something where you have to have an inventory of t-shirts in your basement. No, 100% you can run from anywhere in the world with the flexibility that you need, because moms, we need flexibility. It's a
And
house
you know
that,
what you're talking about with 4 kids under 10, 10 and under.
yep. It's like before 4 p.m., I'm business hacked. It's like boom, boom, boom. I only talk business. After 4, I'm like, who wants a snack? Who wants popcorn? Right? It's like
Yeah.
you can't be business mode when the kids are here. And I love that because I love to spend time with my kids. And that flexibility, having your own online business allows you to have that flexibility, sets you times. I'm a morning person, so I can go to Starbucks at 4 a.m., work on it, come back, help the kids get ready for school, then work from home again. Kids come back, 100% mom mode, and then husband is home as well, 100% wife mode. Having that flexibility, however works for you, but that's
Yeah.
something that I so love to talk about.
Yeah, and we can feel it when you talk about it. You grow when you're talking about. And that's what
Mhm.
attracted me to you. And the fact that often when you go to those, courses and whatever, you need to learn a, a skill
Mhm.
to be able to start a business.
Yes.
And
Yes.
what I really like with your approach is that you already have whatever resources that you need to
Yes.
start your business. You
Yes.
may not know what it is. It's usually the thing that you think nothing of, right? But
Yes.
you're just excellent at it, but
Yeah.
you take it for granted. And that's what I like, because meaning anyone, because we all have a gift, we
That's
all
right.
born with a gift, or
That's right.
we have something that we're good at, so it's now to turn it into a business. And
Yes.
that's what I really really enjoy with your approach, because then
Yeah.
it's accessible to anyone.
Anybody, if you want it. Not everybody wants it, and that's fine. You don't have to. But
Yeah.
if you want it, you can have it. You can definitely
Yeah.
have it. It's like the way that I started my business. I mean, a perfect example of something that I was taking for granted. I've always been really good at planning. Like I said, those videos, like planning, like what to pack. I would travel with my boys. Like my husband would have his own suitcase, but it would be me and my boys in one carry-on bag. And I was like, yeah, I
Right.
have a system. I've always been really good at planning, very good at teaching as well. And so when I started my business, I wanted to teach moms how to travel with their kids. And
Hmm.
how many spots did I sell in my program? Zero. I was
Hmm.
crushed.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, nobody wants what I'm offering. And I was in this mastermind, and I was pregnant with my twins, and I was sick all the time. So I was planning my content in advance. And I planned 3 months of content. And I was in this mastermind, and I was telling them, okay, for accountability purposes, okay, so this is what I planned and all that and blah blah blah. And they're like, wait a minute, what is this? I'm like, yeah, that's my content calendar. And they're like, teach us how to do this. I'm like, great.
Yeah.
I have calendars everywhere in my office. I love it. I have, hold on.
Yeah.
On the wall, I have a white out yearly calendar. I have the desk calendar. Oh, I have, hold on. I have a 4 month calendar. I have a small 3 month calendar. I have the monthly calendar. I have the weekly calendar. Where's my day calendar?
Wow.
I wrote it right here on my and I have a daily calendar. To me, it doesn't sound like a business. It's just what I do. And
Yeah.
people ask me, how do you do that? Who am I to not to teach that to people? Who am I
Yeah.
not to help somebody? with something that I enjoy doing. Same case for
Exactly.
you. There's something that people ask you that you don't think about, but people are like, that thing, can you do that for me again? It's probably something that you do for free, that you like to do, that you could do for free because you've been doing it for free for a long time, and that you can now get paid to do and still have
Yeah.
fun. I'm like, planning content for clients and get paid for it? Yeah, why not?
Ex- Yeah, something that you do in 5 minutes, and it was very impressive to see you do your content. Planning for 3 months. Like what? And we know as YouTubers, there's a lot of people looking at watching us right now, and the YouTubers as well. And a lot of them are struggling about what's the next idea? What can I
Mm,
post? What can I post? And
yeah,
imagine you have 3 months of content plan on the front of you. Come on, that's
yes,
how you can. And you were talking on your channel as well about batch
yes.
filming.
Batch filming, yes, yep,
Yeah,
absolutely. It's a great way to get ahead because, like, for example, in the mornings, and you don't need a lot of time to do that. You can say, okay, I have 1 hour to work on YouTube videos. If you know it in advance what you're going to film, you can record 2 videos, 3 videos instead of just one and then scrolling
yeah,
Instagram for the next 45 minutes, right? So
yeah,
when you plan ahead, you can be more efficient with the small amount of time you have. Again, busy mama 4, I don't expect anybody to have a lot of time because I'm the model. My model is
yeah,
me. So I have a little bit of time. So if you have more time than me, chances are you have more time than me, then you can do a lot more than me. But me with my little time, this is how I make it work.
yeah. And with so much planning in advance on your content, it makes it easier, isn't it? If you don't have to be like searching, okay, what do I plan next? If you already have everything laid out, then it's
Yeah,
easy to, okay, let me do this three, let me do this three, because they're already planned.
that's right.
So yeah, that's something that actually I've learned from you, and that I'm actually, or today I filmed 2 videos. I have my plans already for my
Good,
video for
good.
the entire month. So
Well done.
so yeah. So right, there's something else that I wanted to touch on, to talk about your recent trip,
Yes.
and how that is really linked to that move abroad. So, can you tell us a little bit about why you decided to make that trip, and what did you actually learn? What did you think you would learn
Absolutely.
from it, from the trip?
Absolutely. So one of the ways that we're preparing for our move abroad is to be connected to the right people. So in
Right.
Cameroon, my husband is from there. He has family there. So it would be, I would say, about easier to have the network and people can connect you with the right people. Cote d'Ivoire, I have my best friend there, I have some friends there. So still, it would be a little okay, but you never have enough, or you never have too much connection. So too many connections, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so some of the things that we are doing as we are starting to launch project for to invest in Cameroon or Cote d'Ivoire is to be in the right environment with other like-minded people who are doing the same thing or want to do the same thing. Um, on my channel, like when I started that first video, I had no idea there were so many African immigrants in the US who wanted to make that. Other people like me, I'm like, what? Really? I'm not alone in this thing? And
yeah,
so it was so encouraging. And now because we're going into francophone countries, I wanted to know how is the francophone word working? What I do here with the English speaking market, can I do that with the French speaking market? How does it work? And so I had to learn from the French speaking market because you can't just transfer something here and put it
mm,
that way. The norms are different, the codes are different, right?
yeah,
And so I had to go learn. So I enroll in programs and things like that. It's great to be able to speak French
yeah,
again with other people too. That's a
yeah.
great thing too. But also, so I went to France for a week last week because there was this event which is called Back to Africa. It's
Hmm.
hosted by Philippe Simo, who is a Cameroonian who is has a huge YouTube community. So I've been following him for years now. I think during COVID time or something like that. And so who also is from the diaspora, the French diaspora, and who went back to Africa. So starting with Cote d'Ivoire with his family, and then eventually going to Cameroon. And he invests in both countries, and I think Senegal too. And he in his videos he talks about the urge, the urgency of the diaspora, or part of the diaspora, to go back home,
Mm-hmm.
invest. The
Yeah.
thing with moving to Africa is that, and that I always like when I see a lot of people move to Portugal, Mexico, Colombia, and everything, it's a different
Mm-hmm.
mindset.
Yeah.
When you move to Mexico, you're not going there to build. You don't have to. If you're going to Portugal, you don't have to go there with a mentality of I'm going to build something to contribute to the development of the country. The country is already done. It's already made, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not just come and chill, just enjoy, right? They're not
Yeah.
asking you to build anything. But when you go to Africa, most parts of Africa, you are expected. You feel that pull, even if you're not expected, but you feel that pull to contribute.
Yeah.
And so being in that environment where you see other people who are in that same mindset of, okay, I'm going there to start this farming project, this real estate project, this tourism project, and all of that. And so being able to leave the US and go to France for 6 days just for for that event, it was so worth it. Being able to meet so many people that an email would not do it, right? But being
Yeah.
there, talking in person, getting their card, talking about my project, and them telling me, as soon as you land in Abidjan, call me. I'm going to introduce you to these people right here, right here, right here. It, it's
Yeah.
worth it.
So what's the concept for people that don't know? Because although it's a English, it's, we speak English here. It's an
Mhm.
English channel. There's a lot of people that follow me, follow you, and also speak English, French,
Yeah,
because
yes,
we are French speaker,
yes.
originally French speaker. And so the guy Philippe Simon channel is Investir au pays, so
Hmm.
invest in the country.
Yes,
And so what's the concept of Back to Africa? The name says it all, but
yes,
when you went there, was it what you expected? And what's the vision of
yeah.
Philippe Simon and the team of Back to Africa?
Yes, the vision for Philippe Simon and Investir au Pays is really to use the knowledge that you have acquired in the diaspora.
Mm,
Because we've all left, right? Most of
yeah,
us for school. We've
yeah,
all left for a purpose to gain knowledge, to come for
yeah,
school, and
yeah,
to use that knowledge now because we're using it now that we've graduated school. Our new home in the West is benefiting from that knowledge,
yeah,
working experience and all of that. The US is benefiting from my knowledge and all of that. And I'm very grateful that I was allowed to be here and all of that. But bring that knowledge to your either country of origin or anywhere in Africa, that because that knowledge is needed.
yeah,
It can accelerate the growth. There's growth happening. But when you pump in that in French you say matière grise, like the brain knowledge, like I don't know how you,
yeah.
it's like
This oh yeah, matière grise. I can't remember. Like your brain cells, your something.
yes, like
Your
what you know, your
genius.
expertise,
Yes.
all of that.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
accelerates things, right? And so it's a way for the diaspora to come and help contribute in the development of the existing development of African nations. And so that's his call. That's his call for all of us who want to. Again, not everybody's going to say yes to the call, but
Hmm.
he's one of the many voices. And I think in the francophone arena, he is, I mean, he has a million YouTube subscribers now. So it's the biggest channel talking about business in Africa. They're not talking about entertainment, they're talking
Yeah.
about business in Africa. And
Yeah.
so being there with many of his subscribers, it was at the Palais des Congrès in Paris, which is like probably the biggest room, maybe, I
It
don't know,
is. Yeah. It's one of the biggest room. Yeah.
in
In
Paris,
France.
right? So
Yeah.
auditorium with 4,000 people who are like, we're all like-minded. We're all like, okay, we want to learn. We live in the diaspora. We don't live back home. How do we go without making the mistakes? Or how do we go and avoid certain mistakes? How do we go even if we don't want to move forever now? Like, how can we go back and forth? So all different problematics. And the conference was able to answer to many of those questions And I personally believe that just being there and seeing other people around you, like your neighbor here is like yes to this, he's like fired up. Your neighbor here is like, I compare it a little bit to the Black Panther, let's all go to Wakanda kind of thing. Like it's like
Yeah.
that feeling
Yeah.
of we're all going to do something. We all feel like we can and that we should, and we're excited about the idea of going and to help. And so it's hard, it's tough. I mean, building is always tough, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But we want to. And so there's that drive that brought all of us together. And whatever you were there or not, or you watch his channel, there's that drive, that thirst to contribute, to have meaningful and impactful contributions to the continent. And I think that the conference really, I'm not going to say that I was happily surprised because I expected it to
Yeah.
do that, but I got more, even more by being there. I really got more than what I wanted or needed. Yeah.
That's a beautiful testimony because I've been watching Philip Seymour for 100 years, from the beginning. I've been there with him in the live, you know, day and night because the live will go all night long. And I'm like, 8 hours later, listening. But he brought up and stir so much into
Yes.
African people, is
Yes.
asking the question that people don't want to ask, and
Mm,
to push people to act, because the African diaspora or the African in general are crying and it's the fault of everyone, but they
yes.
don't take action. They didn't take
Yeah.
action. I think his channel helped a lot of African in the diaspora and everywhere to really
Yes.
know that they are able, and they start by them starting somewhere,
Yes. Right.
with what they have. So it's great. I think it's a very good thing that you went there, because you in that project, in this preparation of moving back home and
Yeah.
being around people doing the same thing all together. I can't just imagine, the synergy and have all of that would impact you, and
That's
pump you
right.
to go far.
Exactly.
Because alone is one thing, but when you are many together toward the same goal of
Yeah.
like making Africa big,
That's right.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's the
Oh,
thing is like everybody has that goal, making Africa shine, changing the image of Africa, all of that.
yes, the
That we all
narrative,
have, like
yeah.
we're doing it in our own way. Some people will go into farming, some people will go into real estate, into this and that. But overall, the goal is to make Africa thrive.
Absolutely. Me, I'm traveling and showing you Africa. That's
There
all
you
I'm
go. Exactly.
that's what,
Everybody's
yes.
doing it in their own way.
Yeah, so no, that's amazing. That's amazing. So,
Yeah.
Linda, is there anything else like you would advise somebody, because it's an extremely courageous thing to do when you
Mm.
have 4 kids, and we know that moving back to Africa, the thing is, some standard, like even hospital, you
Yeah.
know, how do you do with if you sick? It's not
Yes.
like here where there's a standard of hospital and the cares are there. In Africa, it's still a challenge.
Yeah.
Usually, you have to be private and pay a lot of money.
Mm.
So
Mm.
you have to budget for that.
Yes.
Where here, it's not the same. I mean,
Yeah.
here it's more the UK, because you guys in America, it's another story.
You gotta pay.
You guys, it's different. Your care system is like your health care. I call it health scare. Yes, health scare, not even health care. It's scary.
Yeah, that's true.
You have the schools and you have
Mhm.
4 kids
Yeah.
going to. That's why, if you can this is what, for me, it was extremely important, because I became that, I don't know, porte-parole, of Africa. I'm like, I had to wear the top
Yes.
that I made myself, like, uh,
Aw.
because I'm so rooting for Africa,
Yes.
that what you're doing, if you with 4 kids can do it, you are
Mm.
living the American dream where everything is done for you.
Yeah.
Your kid go to the schools, the standard is there, roads are done, and you are guys are deciding to go back to Africa, you know, and build there, and just teach also your kids to
Yeah,
know where are their origins, because it helps the kids really feel complete
absolutely.
when they know their roots, and to stop that narrative of what Africa is being portrayed on TV. It
Mm-hmm.
did that for my kids to be in Africa, make them
Yeah.
the young women that they are today, proud
Yeah.
of who they are.
Yeah.
They have like fro. What's fro?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Froze.
Afro.
Afros.
Yes, they don't wear. I have nothing against wearing weaves or whatever. It doesn't matter if you relax your hair. That's a personal matter.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, in when they were younger, they
Yeah.
wanted to have their hair relaxed because they wanted to be like their friends. This
Yeah.
girl wear the afro at
Yes.
work. My youngest has locks on her
Uh-huh.
head, dreadlocks. The other one has a poofy afro. She goes to work with
My.
it, and and I've seen that change when they came back from Africa. They were
Mm,
so proud now to be. They didn't have to explain who they were,
yeah.
and that's something that you giving to your kids by taking them back.
Yeah.
And so bravo for doing it, because I know it's not easy. I'm talking too much. What I wanted to
No,
ask you is, what would you tell a family who want to go back home and is afraid of the change, leaving everything that's done to go back to where there's a lot to be done, and where infrastructure may not be there. Internet still a luxury in a lot of places, like in Cameroon.
yeah. Yeah.
What would you tell them?
Yeah. The first thing I would say is definitely secure the finances. Wherever you go, even
Mm,
if you're moving down the border to Mexico, secure the finances. If you have kids, secure the finances even more.
yeah.
Secure, secure, secure. So having some savings, having a way for money to come in,
Mm-hmm.
income, um, whether you can, like, before you get there, while you're there, you need to have income coming in. So again, shameless plug, having an online business.
Uh,
That's always that's always going to be my way to do it. Don't go expecting to have a job. Like, don't go looking for a job. That's a bad idea. Don't go expecting the investments to start bringing you money. That's a bad
mm,
idea. Go with already incoming recurring income. The second thing
right.
that I would say is, like, you have choices. You have 54 countries. You don't have to go back to your country of origin. I'm not going back to the Congo. You don't
Yeah.
have to go. You have to go to a place. Again, it depends on your level of comfort, risk, discomfort, like tolerance and all of that. And that's
Yeah.
why if you compare Cameroon and Cote d'Ivoire to the US is not Cote d'Ivoire. However, it's closer to Cote d'Ivoire than it is to Cameroon, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you want a smoother transition, pick the country with better infrastructure, better, like, choose what's important for you. The thing is that there's going to be trade-offs.
Yeah.
With all the infrastructure and the comfort for Cote d'Ivoire, the cost of living is also higher than
Yes.
Cameroon.
Yeah.
Cameroon, you spend little money and you can live like a king.
Oh
But down the
yes.
road, there's potholes, and maybe you're not gonna have water tomorrow. But
Leave
you
our pothole, okay? And we have Enoh. If you work online, where electricity, you can't go without the electricity for days. So you have
okay,
to account. You may have like a, how do you call it?
group
A group.
electrogen, like a
Yes.
generator.
A generator, you
Yeah.
need that if you work
Yes.
online.
Yes.
Water is like you say, if you don't have a puits, a well, like
Well,
water, yeah,
yeah,
you can be for a week, sometimes months without water
that's
in
right.
Yaoundé.
Mm,
So it's true. Life is a lot cheaper, a lot, three
yes.
times cheaper, certainly than
Then in
Cote
Houston,
d'Ivoire,
yes.
and or yes, or the
Yeah.
US. But yeah,
You gotta pick your trade-offs. And
yeah,
it's like we did the budget, Cameroon and Cote d'Ivoire. If we were to go with our head only, Cameroon is an easy choice.
right.
We would cut our cost of living by a lot. We
Okay.
would be able to live better, have a lot of staff, at home and all of that, being able to put the kids in bilingual schools or even English speaking schools without costing us a fortune. We have the network with family and friends already there and all of that. On the other hand, you have Cote d'Ivoire, better infrastructure. Even the market for some of the businesses that I want to do is more, it's smoother. Like it's already there, and they told me, "Hey, come, we need you." Right? So
Yeah.
so there's already you don't have to explain to people what you're trying to do. It's already there. You've talked to the people, and they're like, "Yeah, when are you coming?" So there's some things there that are already ready and in place, but the cost of living is also a lot higher. So look at what are your priorities? You're gonna make sacrifices anyways, even if
It,
you were
it,
to go to France.
yeah,
I was,
absolutely.
oh my gosh, my husband, he's like, I don't know how French people do it. How do they live like this? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, in tiny boxes, apartments. And and if you go to if you've lived in Europe all your life, it's like
That's all you know.
it's like
It's
it's the
true.
standard. But if you come to Texas specifically, not even New York, if you come to New York, it's comparable. If you come to Texas, there is no way you're going to be like going back to France and be like, oh man,
Really? That I
oh
didn't
my gosh,
know. Because
oh my
I've
gosh.
been to my sister in Washington, D.C.,
Okay.
and I'm like, what? It's so big because Europe, even in the UK, you have what they call the nursery room. Lord Jesus, you can
Oh,
put your both hands and touch the wall. Room on big here, so,
yeah,
but I've been to America and I see the difference. In France, la chambre de bonne, like,
yes,
that, like, it's crazy. It's like
yeah,
that tiny little place where I had a flat in France, in Paris, 13,
uh-huh.
and my kitchen, I could touch both walls, and I had a lounge and a bedroom, but you could just put everything together and that
Oh
would
my
do
goodness.
a bedroom. uh,
Yeah. So it's like so
yes.
everywhere you go, even if you're moving from Texas to Washington D.C., wherever you go, you're going to have to make trade-offs, right?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
be like in a lot of places in Europe, for example, there's no central AC. You cannot have tenants in your house, and if you don't have central AC here in Texas, you need to have everywhere. I don't need to go into every room and turn it on the window or no, it's unheard of. So
Oh,
you're going to change that your standard wherever you live. You're going to change your standards of living. Maybe it's going to be better, maybe it's not going to be better, but you're going to have to adapt to your new environment, and you have to know that before you go. It's not going to be what you're living. It's not, and be okay with that.
yeah.
Otherwise, just stay
Right.
home. Stay where you are. If you don't want to have those trade-offs, you
Exactly.
don't
And
have
did you had to do, sorry, some sacrifices about, saving? Because when you do such a big move, you kind of have to reduce maybe your expense, and
absolutely.
maybe putting a bigger, part of your wage, your salary or payment,
Yes,
toward that dream. Can you just give some tips of ways you manage to put money aside more than usual to prepare for that trip?
absolutely. For the past year and a half, our I would say policy, our understanding with my husband is that we don't buy anything that we cannot take with us.
Oh, wow.
No. So I'm
Okay.
very I do most of the purchases, but like I always think twice, is this something like electronics? Like unless it's something that breaks and that we needed, like a toaster, for example, we needed a toaster. But I'm very conscious about what I purchase. Even the kids' clothes, like for back to school this past August, I'm like, is this going to last enough that we can take it with us? Toys, like they don't even get toys anymore. Like the things that they get, is this something that we can take with us? I don't buy stuff that is just gonna stay here.
Right.
Yeah. Or I'm very, very conscious about, okay, what are we buying this? Can we wait? Do we need it now? If
Mm-hmm.
we don't need it now, let's not buy it. If it's not something we can take with us, let's not buy it. So
Right.
we're saving a lot of money that way. Obviously, the other way is so making more money with our businesses, more clients, and all of that, investing as well. And so there are different ways that we're working the strategy financially so that we can have that cushion when we go. Because the goal is to have at least a year
Yeah.
of all expenses paid, so that we land there and then there's no internet for 2 months. Okay, what do we do?
Yeah.
Okay, you got to leave some way. Um, the investment thing that you wanted to do is not picking up, or the person who, that happens a lot. Like the person who told you, yeah, come and I'll introduce you to this person. That person was like there was like a government change, and that person doesn't work at that office anymore. Now he's like in some village somewhere.
Yeah.
How is he gonna help you, right? So it's like you're counting on
Yeah.
that one person, but that person is not at that office anymore. What do you do? So you have to cover your own behind.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the other thing that you said that just brought to my attention is that, are you planning to move with like furniture, or are you
Ah,
selling everything? Because that we been expat a lot of time. We
mm,
move our entire stuff to Cameroon. If it was to be, if I had to do things again,
yeah,
I'm not sure I would do the same, because
yeah.
we think to Bahrain, Dubai, Cameroon. I'm not sure I
Mm,
would do the same today.
mm. When we talked about it, my husband was the one who was like, you know what, we can ship this car to Cameroon. Like Cameroon, they like they like to ship cars.
Yes, yes,
It's like we can ship this car to Cameroon. Like let's buy this car so we can ship it. I'm like, let's leave everything. Let's sell everything. So we, I don't think, and also because of the plug are different, like even for electronics.
yes, yeah.
So I'm not attached to anything that we have. The only thing I'm
Oh,
attached to is the house.
yeah.
We have sentimental attachment to the house, and so we're going to rent it out. So having renters and all that, and that will be also some
That's
income.
an income. Yes,
Yes,
yeah.
and if we were like, okay, let's go back, we can come back to the house as well. Because I mean, we bought the house over 10 years ago, and there's no way with the interest rates and all that that we can come back to this neighborhood.
I know. That's
Again.
clever.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. We did the same. We
yeah,
always kept the same house. We've been here for 23 years. We move, came back, move, came back. And it was good
mm,
to have a base where you come back.
yes,
Because if you
yeah,
come and you have to still have a mortgage to try
uh-uh.
to, and the price keep going up
Yeah,
all the time, every
yeah,
year.
that's right.
That's a yes, that's a very good advice as well.
Mm,
Yeah, I would do the same. I would sell everything, because
yeah,
honestly, doesn't matter where you go to Africa, you will find furniture. Everything that you find in Europe, you find it there.
yeah. Or you can
And
have it made.
yes, I was going to say, you can't even take your best, something that you love, show it there, somebody will make it for you,
That's
because
right.
they're very creative like that.
That's
And
right.
fridge, everything, TV, because the cost of bringing thing, then the customs, my goodness, in
Yes.
Africa is
Oof.
something else. You pay a lot of money.
Yeah.
I wouldn't honestly today, but my husband is like, when we're selling this one, he's like, yeah, but everything you want to send to Cameroon. Like,
Yes.
so,
They love
my
their country.
goodness, what's
Everything in the house has its place in Cameroon.
Cameroon? Exactly. We already have so many things in Cameroon. There's no more space to bring anything. It's like, no, no, we don't throw this. We keep it for Cameroon.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I don't say anything anymore. I just throw things when he's not looking.
Yeah, but it's true. Like, and even another thing is that because there's six of us, and
Yeah.
everybody probably will probably take Air France or Brussels or Airlines, something like that. Two suitcases. We're bringing books, bringing toys, like things like that. Yes, we're gonna put it in
Yeah.
suitcases and all that, or a small electronic, like maybe like something that I really like. But other than that, you know, I, I have my laptop. The kids have their iPads. I think we'll be fine. The rest can be can be bought there or made there.
Made.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Good point. Very good point.
Mm.
Well, Linda, that was such a pleasure talking to you. If you have anything at all, if I forgot maybe to ask you something, please, the floor is yours. Just tell us anything that you want to tell us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun talking to you because it's like it's an easy
Yeah,
conversation
whoa, it
to have
is.
with you. It's like talking to my older sister. And so I
Yeah,
have a lot of respect for you and I
thank you.
appreciate your content on your YouTube channels. I love what you do. And so really, I'm really honored to be here on your channel. I love it.
Likewise, likewise.
And yeah, so yeah, this is what I do. I'm so passionate about helping women to start their businesses because we underestimate ourselves and we're like, no, I'm not good at this.
Yep,
Listen, there's somebody out there teaching people how to boil eggs.
yep.
Some Google it. Somebody's teaching people how to boil eggs. If you know how to boil an egg, you can have a business. And so you can start a business. There's so many ways, different ways that I work with clients. Sometimes it's one-on-one, sometimes it's a group setting. I'm doing a retreat in Morocco in April of next year.
Yes, tell us about that, please, in details.
Yes, so that is for the person who wants the full experience. Remember when we talked about going to Africa and having the nanny, the chef, the that's going to be a mini that, an appetizer, because for a whole week, for 6 days, we're together, and you don't have to cook, you don't have to clean, you don't have to drive people to basketball practice. You show up, we have fun, we work on your business. By the end of the retreat, you're going to have your full business done so that you can land your first next client at the end of our 6 days together. So we're going to be in the desert, we're going to be in the souk, in the markets, buying rugs. So it's going to be work and play. It's going to be fun,
Excellent.
fun.
Wow. Wow. Guys, we're going to put all of that in the descriptions, okay? Linda will pass me all the links and then we'll share. So if you want to, join pleasure and
Yeah,
creating, because what you said is when you leave that place,
mhm,
after that retreat, you coming with something concrete.
that's
You have
right.
your business in your hand, something that you can start.
Yes. You
And
know,
yeah,
I'm working on a new offer that I'm putting together. It's probably not for everyone, but I like speed. I didn't run marathons or long distance. I run the, what do you say, summit, like the 100 dash,
oh yeah.
and that was the fastest in my school. I have medals and all of that. Like that little box there is like, it has my medals from track and all that. I like speed. I can teach you how to build your business in a weekend.
Yeah.
And so so I have that offer that I'm creating for those who want to do it in a weekend. So it's like a VIP day
It's
experience where
yeah.
I come to your town or you come to Houston, and from Friday to Sunday, you have your 90 days of content, you have your irresistible offer, you have your promotional plan, so you know exactly where you're going to get clients from, all of that. So we can do that in a weekend. Or you can also come to Marrakesh and we have even more fun and
I'll
we
go
do it
to
over 6 days.
Marrakesh. I'll go to Marrakesh. Houston is definitely good. I will come, but I first go to Marrakesh.
Let's go to Marrakesh and it's closer
Then
to you.
yes. Because the fun learning about, Arabic food, Arabic culture, it's
Yes.
and you being born there, it's your home
It's
country
home.
as well.
Yeah.
So you actually taking people back home
Yeah.
and showing them, where did you grow up? Was it in near Marrakesh?
No, I grew up in the north in Tangier. So we would
Oh,
see Spain.
Tangier.
Like
Yeah.
you can see Spain right across the Mediterranean. So in Tangier, and I went to school in Casablanca. I love Casablanca. It's like,
Casablanca. Yeah.
and then Marrakesh is a tourist city, and that's where the retreat is going to be, Marrakesh in the south.
Wow. And what's the dates already for?
April 26th till May 1st, 2025. So there's still time to join.
Yeah. Anyway, all of that will be in the descriptions. And definitely on your channel as well, you offer a lot of free content. Can you
Mhm.
talk just a little bit also so people know what to find on your channel?
Absolutely. So I combine both. I combine my process of our family moving abroad. So the challenges, the fears that I have, because I do have some fears. I might look like
Yeah.
I have everything figured out, but I don't, right? It's still some
Yeah.
challenges. So talking about my fears and all that of moving abroad. And how do you make that possible? Well, with an online business. So I also talk about business and how to start your business. So combining both of them, that's the kind of content that I share on my YouTube channel.
Excellent. Yes, guys, I love the way, as Linda talk about business as something that's so, for people like me. I'm not a math person, I'm not a logical person. When you talk business, I run away. But you make it accessible to everyone, to
Mhm.
the stay-at-home mom, who maybe never walked outside, because stay at home, it's a full-time job. Okay,
Yeah,
it's a job, it's a valid job.
that's
But
right.
to that woman who maybe society may make her feel like she has done nothing, because that's what it is, stay at home, but what do you do
Mhm.
at all?
Yeah,
Sorry, that's the hardest job ever,
it is
you know.
so hard.
And so the way you present things is really give confidence. I know, even for myself, there's something that I was afraid of doing. No, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe my English is not good
Mhm.
enough, and that. And I know being in your course really helped me to gain confidence.
I'm
And
so glad.
yeah, so anyone who actually benefits, so I invite you first, go get to know Linda on her channel, go see what she's offering. I think getting to know her, then I'm sure after that interview, you see how lovely she is, and maybe you want to go to Marrakesh, you
Yeah,
know, and come out of it with a business story, and then at the same time have fun. So
yeah.
Linda, thanks ever so much. I'm sure the people watching, family watching, friends watching have enjoyed the conversation. So go on the channel and join, subscribe. And well, I think we're going to say goodbye. I would talk to you until tomorrow because I like you so
We
much.
appreciate. That was so much fun. So so much
It
fun.
was, it was really fun, but we have to go back to, you have to go back to the kids, and I need to actually go see my husband. So let him know that I remember that I have a husband. So, all right, guys. So we're gonna say goodbye for now, and next time, if you have anything else that you want to share, you're welcome anytime
Thank
on
you.
Jazz Nomad TV.
Thank you so much for having me. That was so much fun.
Yeah, me too. My pleasure. Bye, friends.